troubles and just get happy. You better chase all your cares away. Sing hallelujah.
Okay, so on to the DJ timeline now. This is probably the most important thing that we're going to do together. So let's take a look at a couple of samples. It's pretty self-explanatory, but I'll go over it quick. All right, so the names are going to be up here, the date, where it is, obviously personal information, phone numbers. I like to have it in a timeline as well as on the contract. I like to know about how many guests are going to be there, what time I'm going to be there. Although in this case, I was actually there the day before. I was set up the day before because the room was open, so that was nice. Her pre-ceremony started at 4 o'clock, so I played light country she wanted. She didn't specify specific songs, which is fine. You don't have to. And then her ceremony music is right here. Okay, things like your recessional. She was asking me if I could start it where the chorus comes in. I'm going to do that anyways, whether you tell me or not, because that's just the smart thing to do for something like the recessional, because it's like fun and everybody's excited. You just finished the ceremony. You want to start the recessional song at like the most fun part of the song, not at the beginning of the song where it might be really slow. Okay. And then cocktail hour, she didn't want anything specific, so I just said general mix is fine. If it's a general mix, I'm usually going to play, if I have my choice, I'm going to play a combination of like Rat Pack type stuff, Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis, Dean Martin, Ella Fitzgerald. A lot of jazz works really great for cocktail hour. If you want something different, you can just let me know. You can tell me the artists, or you can tell me specific songs, or you can say I want like a seaside vibe with Jimmy Buffett and Beach Boys, things like that. Totally up to you. It doesn't matter to me. Okay, so then we move on to the introductions. This is where we put down what song I'm going to be playing for introductions. You can have one song for your introduction for your bridal party, and you can have one song for the bride and groom if you want to switch, although it's not needed. And in this case, she kept the same song. But what I did was, and I suggest this for most songs, and it's going to be in the next playlist that we look at as well, is that before I start the introductions, I'm going to find the best part of the song. Usually it's a chorus, right? It's like one of the best parts of the song. And I'm going to make a marker on my DJ software. So that way, when the bride and groom come in, no matter where I am in the song, I'm going to press that button on my DJ mixer, and it's going to go straight to the best part of the song. Here we have the order. A lot of people are not doing last names anymore for bridesmaids and groomsmen. Not sure why that is trending. It makes this whole thing, which is all fun anyways, a little bit less formal, which is nice. I actually like it. Maid of honor, best man. So just start off. If you're going to have parents introduced as well, parents are going to go first. Actually, if you're going to have grandparents, grandparents would go first. Then you're going to have parents of the bride, then parents of the groom. And I think we'll see that in the next timeline. Then all of your bridesmaids and groomsmen, then your maid of honor, matron of honor with the best man, and then finally you guys are last. And you also have to tell me how you want me to say you guys. Sometimes people aren't, the woman isn't taking the man's last name, things like that. So, okay, then most people go into their first dance right after they get introduced. Also, one thing I forgot to mention, and I didn't write down here, is bridal party stands in front of DJ table. Sometimes people like to have the bridal party stay on the dance floor while they're doing their first dance. Again, that's totally up to you. I would say it's about 50-50 with my clients. Some do, some don't. But I have to notate that here, whether you're going to do it or not. So then you go into your first dance. If you want your first dance shortened, then you can let me know. Fade out when appropriate. Something like that, or you can say fade out at an exact time at 2 minutes and 45 seconds if you already know. Some people are very detailed and some people are not. They just go with the flow. Doesn't matter to me either way. They actually did their parent dances right after their first dance, and that's more unusual these days. There was a reason why they did that, which is fine. I'll copy and paste this though where it usually is. So we did their father-daughter dance, their mother-son dance. If you want either of these parent dances shortened, you can let me know. Usually they are shortened. Usually at least 2 minutes is plenty, but if you want to go the full length, you can as well. And if a song is not the original, you have to be specific. So in this case, they wanted the unplugged version from the MTV. So otherwise, I would have played the original. So Great. And then after the parent dances, we went on to speeches, the best man first, Trenton, and then maid of honor. They had a cordless microphone that I gave them, and I also sort of helped them out, come up to them, introduce them, and sort of help them get in their position. Usually if they stand next to the bride and groom, photographers like that, but a lot of times they also stand on the middle of the dance floor, and that's fine as well. Okay, so after speeches, then we're on to dinner. And I like to know if it's a served dinner or if it's stations. So that way, if it's stations, I can announce that a server will be coming around to your table to invite you up to the stations. Please enjoy the rest of your evening, something like that. Okay, so then after dinner, we usually have the cake cutting, and they chose a song for their cake cutting. That gets chosen a lot. And if the parent dances weren't before, the parent dances would be right here, okay? And the parent dances do work well at this point. They lead nicely into opening the dance floor. And I'll talk more about dance selection and stuff in a later video, but to start off dancing with a couple of slow songs, even if it's just one slow song, you can really fill the dance floor with a lot of people. And that's what you want to do at the beginning. You want to fill the dance floor. It's not late yet. People still aren't, super comfortable possibly with dancing. It depends on your crowd. But everybody likes to slow dance, okay? And then once you get them on the dance floor, then you can do whatever you want. But whenever people ask me to just start dancing off with a bang and right away with this super fast song, I'm going to tell you literally 99.9% of the time, it never works that well. It never works as well as they think it's going to. If you'd like to do that, it's totally fine with me. You can do that. It's not my wedding. I'm there to work for you, so I'll do whatever you want. Okay, so then they had a last dance at 10:25, but they didn't choose a specific last dance. You can choose one if you want, and I do have some sample ones that work well for last dances, but you don't have to. I'm pretty good at knowing how to deal with that last half hour of dancing. And then if you're going to have a please play songs for me or do not play songs, they would go right here at the end. And for her, she really didn't have very many. She had like some country favorites. She just wanted to make sure like some group things got played, like Sweet Caroline and stuff like that. And then one specific song, Fireball by Pitbull, for her sister. But I like to know who it's for, if it's possible. So that way, like if the sister is not there, I don't want to play it. So I'm looking around on the dance floor to make sure that her sister's there before I play that. And then if you want to put down do not play songs, most people do that as well. I wouldn't have played any of these anyways, but if it makes you feel better to put them down, please do so. All right, so let's take a quick look at one more sample. Okay, so this one is a little bit more detailed, and I just wanted to show you the difference between somebody that is more detail-oriented, this specific couple. So same stuff, all of the important stuff up here. And then actually I was doing some uplights for them, so I just wanted to remind myself to bring them and what color they're going to be. So as you can see here for her ceremony, she was a lot more detailed with her pre-ceremony music. So not a problem, I can do that. Ceremony songs, telling me where to start this one. Had to be specific about this one, yep. And then the recessional. She told me to start at 57 seconds or skip the first verse. So basically she wanted me to come in on the chorus, which is what I would have done anyways. And then for the cocktail hour music, she actually gave me all of these songs. That's not a problem, I can do that. Some people do, some people don't. This was a first actually. She wanted these two songs played when the reception doors opened because the cocktail hour was in a separate part of the building. I'm not sure you need to go that far with things because I don't know if people really notice or heard it, but again, it's not a problem. I was glad to do it. Introductions, same thing. They wanted Don't Stop the Party, Black Eyed Peas. They did have their parents, father of the bride, mother of the bride, groom, bridesmaids, groomsmen, blah, blah, blah. And then they specifically said they want to enter at 4 minutes and 55 seconds on that song. So I just went to my DJ software, made a little cue point, and bang, as soon as I introduce them, I can just press one button and it happens. Easy. Okay, then they went into their first dance, and I wrote a little note to myself saying, look for them to possibly fade the song out. So they gave me a look at a certain point that was basically like, hey, we're done. And then I faded the song out at that point. And then after that, we had a toast, and then we're on to dinner. And then they did have a cake cutting, but it wasn't formal or announced, so they wanted me to know that, so I wouldn't announce it or play a song for it. And I just wanted to know that they had a donut bar, so I could announce it if I needed to. And one thing I forgot to talk about is bouquet toss. She ended up not doing it, I believe, or the garter. Most people do not do the bouquet toss or garter anymore. If they're going to do anything, they'll do the bouquet toss, but even that, I would say, gets done maybe 20% of my weddings, and the garter even less than that. I am going to do a video on both of those though later. So then they had dancing, and their last dance was at 10 o'clock, and they were pretty specific about not wanting to play songs that, like, basically they said older people would like We Are Family, Celebration, I Will Survive, things like that. So these were their dance songs. You know, they wanted something like this Michael Jackson Thriller remix. It didn't go over that great, but I was happy to do it, and I'm not gonna say that it was a bad thing. But I don't know. My thoughts on that are, if you're gonna play a classic song like a Thriller, people kind of want to hear the original, unless it's a real inside thing where you have like a bunch of friends that are sort of in on the fact that everybody knows the song. It was like a college song or something like that. But it was fine. It went over fine. A few of these I don't think I played because I was like, you know, I don't think a lot of people are going to know like this one or maybe this one. And honestly, there wasn't time. We just didn't get to it. But I did play pretty much all of their other ones that they asked for. And then they asked for a couple of remixes. I definitely played those, and they did like those. And then they had some do not play songs. Again, a lot of people put down like the line dances and stuff like that. If it makes you feel better, you can put it down, but you don't have to. Okay, so hopefully this helps you out. Sorry if this was a long video, but this is the most important thing that we're going to do. Like I said, I send you the sample timelines by email, and you can either fill them out yourself if you want, or you can just use them as a guide so that you know what you're going to need to give to me for information. And if you're going to do it that way, then I'll have the phone call or the in-person meeting with you, and I'll basically just type up one of these timelines right in front of you, and then I'll send it to you, and have you check it out and just send it back to me saying everything looks great.